10 years gone. The first 7 hours. Veronica drove with the radio on and thought about how to start. Had to be funny, both familiar and distant. It had been a week since Dylan, her childhood friend from Birmingham, emailed his phone number. A month since they started exchanging emails. 10 years since she'd seen him, and 15 since they'd been close. She punched in the New York number she'd memorized, and right before she hit the button to call, she passed a plane graveyard to her left and felt dizzy. The second 7 hours. It was 1:47 his time. It took him a second, then he laughed. After 30 minutes, she started to feel comfortable and turned the speaker on the phone, laid it on the leather passenger seat. 2 hours in, he asked how long they'd been talking, and she didn't want to answer, didn't want him to be ready to go. He said something about how they'd talk hours on the phone at night in high school, but wouldn't look at each other in the hallways. 4 hours in, he acknowledged that he hadn't shown up to her parents' funeral, but didn't apologize. She changed the subject, asked if he'd ever talked to Wes, a guy they'd smoked dope with in high school. 5 hours in, she crossed the Texas state line and leaned forward to touch the windshield, then shook her head and said never mind out loud. He asked what she'd said. She saw a giant white cross lit up ahead of her, and for the 20 minutes it took to reach it, she told him about her husband's problems. Their problems. Dylan said he was sort of shocked. They got off the phone when the sun was coming up in New York. The third 7 hours. She stopped for coffee but didn't need it. He'd suggested she visit, but she couldn't let him see her. Not like this. The sun started up when she was an hour away from New Orleans. Veronica stopped, got a room, slept all day, and that evening drove back to Arizona.